We were having some technical difficulties, so we had to restart. And now
Oh,
Cooper is
sorry.
back.
Here,
Great. Awesome.
so I actually left my stabilizer at school, so unfortunately, I'm not gonna have the advantage of using that. So my camera might be a bit shaky. Sorry about that.
Okay, it's not an issue at all.
Oh,
Welcome
I'll
aboard,
pop it in.
Cooper.
How's it
Collins. He's
going?
been waiting. It's going well, thank you. He's been waiting to come on. Very super excited to be on the Martine show. So everybody, please welcome him. Let me share this live right now, since we had to restart due to some technical difficulties that we had very shortly. All right. So Touchdown is here with us from India, which is really special
Yeah.
to have
What's
him
going
on.
on? Good to have you.
You know Touchdown from the Rizzle app, right?
I actually have not ran into touchdown yet, so meeting new people
Okay.
every day.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. All
I,
right,
I
so
notice a lot of the time. Sorry, I just want to say I notice a lot of the time people say there's no one on the app, and there's thousands of people. Thousands.
exactly. And there are people who are just watchers. They don't really create videos, they watch. And you have those who create videos, you know. And the thing about it, there are more watchers than people who actually do create videos, to tell you the truth.
A lot of people share videos too, which is something that helps. And I don't know. I
Yeah.
just hope someday to see like one of the videos that someone posts go viral and end up somewhere on TikTok or something like that. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Everything is wide open, so you just never know. So we're gonna wait, I guess, for a couple of people to come in before you introduce yourself so that we can get everything started. I
For
do
sure.
remember you're saying that you're in school as well.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, so you're in school, you got the business going on, you got Rizzle going on, you got
Yeah.
Instagram going on.
Okay, so basically, I don't really have a business yet. I actually went as far as getting a business registration, but for the idea, okay, I can explain the concept behind Busybug Productions.
Go
I
ahead.
want to become a content creator. I don't know if I can do that full time at the moment, but I want to have like a parent company for that, right? And so that's what Busybug Productions is going to stand for. If I need to do tax information, have a business bank account, that's the that's what I'm going to register it underneath. So it's plans for the future. I have a lot of things going on right now. Like attending all the Rizzle classes and like going to school and having an interview right now. It keeps me pretty busy.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love it. I love that you're doing the preliminary work before you dive into full-fledged business because that is necessary. So you definitely have your company name already. Dwayne Hurt,
Thank
welcome
you.
aboard. Yeah, you definitely have your company name already. You're registered, obviously, and your plan is to become a full-fledged content creator, which is very much possible as long as you're doing it the right way.
Mhm.
Video creation is one of the best ways and the most prominent ways to dive into that part of the industry. So you're definitely on the right track with that.
Mhm.
I like that very much. When you say you want to become a full-time content creator, um, do you have an area of a niche that you want to focus on primarily?
Okay, so when I'm on YouTube, I watch a lot of different videos, and I find the culture today is people take a lot from the internet, but they don't contribute. You can look up almost anything, but if you're not going to give back, how are people going to find more current, updated information? So I take inspiration, especially from Rizzle, because that gave me a platform to film short videos. It's acceptable that they're filmed on your phone, and you can just show people the world around you. So I don't know if I want to do travel vlogs or school. I kind of just want to do like IRL vlogs, things in real life showing people the world around me. But you got to
Hmm.
be careful too because when you're sharing your personal life, it kind of,
Right. I
yeah.
noticed that you share a lot of videos within your area. Like sometimes you're walking around in the area,
Yeah.
the housing in the area and stuff like that, which is awesome. That's great and everything. But then you also have to be wary of your level of privacy as well. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like you could show things, know what to show, but not to invading of your privacy. you
Yep,
know?
that's true. Definitely. You don't want people to find out where you are, I guess, because some people get angry, or you definitely can have some people who are a bit crazy and they think, oh, this guy is famous, or whatever people think, and
Yeah,
they stalking you. That's something that can definitely happen.
yeah.
But yeah, doing touristy type content like Touchdown is saying would be stuff that would be more safe. But even people that I watch on YouTube, like I like to watch Linus Tech Tips or Electro Boom. They're both from Surrey, and they like to talk about the fact that they're from Surrey. So
Hmm.
I'm really inspired by the fact that it actually is a or sorry, what did you say? A small community of people, and they're actually very reachable.
Hmm.
So that's my goal, is to be able to reach these people, collaborate with them. When I think of making content, doing tours would actually be something that I think would be really cool. So maybe calling up a mine and saying, hey, Cooper Collins here with Busy Bug Productions. Would you guys be interested in doing an interview? Or, be interested in allowing me to come in and film some of what you guys do from a safe distance, put the earplugs in, whatever you got to do to get an interview at a mine. Or what else is cool? Maybe there's somewhere that grows lavender. Let's go check that out. Or like an apiary, honey,
Hmm.
like all those cool things, show people that type of stuff. So I think my niche is going to be switching it up all the time, but keeping it within the context of, the flavor of the month, that type of thing,
Hmm. It sounds more that you're leading towards the area of adventure, because it's like you want to
Definitely.
capture the adventures of the world.
Hey, Jasmine, how's it going, dude? It's good to see
What's
you.
up, Blossom? Yeah, you
And
seem
Jasmine,
to.
I think we'll touch base on stocks a little bit too, if we can, because I've been getting into wealth simple trading, all that, so having a bit of fun with it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, yeah, it seems like you want to capture the adventures of the world, the things that are pretty much like, you know, interesting, beautiful. Um, a lot of times, this is things that people take for granted as well, you know, what you really want to capture. So that's something that I definitely think that you could um, create something big with it once you focus on it. So,
Um, okay. I think I actually, if you would allow me, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing for school right now.
sure, go ahead.
Okay. So right now it's actually just me and another student, and we're in class for, it's called Green Energy Technology Technician, technically is what the certificate would be in the end. So
Hmm.
it's a really broad course teaching us how to wear like fall protective equipment, operating power tools. Right now we're working on wiring. So like
Hmm.
wiring notes. It's a lot of repetitive stripping wires and putting in screws and connectors and stuff. Got a couple cuts in my hands and stuff, so we got gloves and all that to keep us safe. But yeah, just like a lot of basic electrical work. Um, it's really hard for me to say anything specific about it because there's so
Hmm.
many different categories. We're doing safety. We're learning like what it would take to climb up a wind tower and service it. Um,
Hmm.
Transformer works, conductors, just a lot of different things. So basically, we're learning about electrical and green energy technology.
Nice. How long is the program?
So this is my first year, and there's a second year. So I'm
Okay.
hoping that both me and the other students stick it out and we end up graduating.
So
See,
it's a 2-year
I'm
program?
yeah. See, I'm
Hmm.
from Canada, and we've got First Nations people here, right? So the community that I'm from has 5 different First Nations bands. One of them just received a grant for $700,000, and so what
Hmm.
they're gonna do, they're gonna buy 13 different sites. They're going to build what are called solar arrays, and then they're all going to be connected to a combiner and go into the power grid. So the hope for both of us is that we're going to be able to hop on that program and get some experience working with photovoltaic cells or possibly wind turbines, high voltage, tools of the trade, all that stuff. So it'd be a lot of fun because Our job is going to be a lot deeper than just twisting wires and like we'll be in charge of ordering things. We need to tell a customer how much it's going to cost. Obviously, lots of problem solving. And even things like if there's going to be people that are pouring concrete, we have to make sure that it's done properly because if it's a wind turbine, that base has to be solid. So there's just a lot of like really cool things. I never thought I'd be into construction, but that seems like I'm going to be on a lot of jobs like that if it goes well.
And you know what? This is a very prominent industry for you to get in during this time because you are right en route for what is needed for the 5G world. And we are at the beginning. This is the tip of the 5G world. So by the time you're done, you're going to be fully prepared and ready to receive and implement everything that you have learned in school and put all that into practice. So you're going to be like on top of the charts. Like you're going to be wanted in a very good way when it comes to work. Okay.
I just
And
want to say personally, I actually do not agree with 5G personally.
mm-hmm,
And I'll just leave it at that. But what am I trying to say? I just think that like it goes so much deeper because we're doing everything green energy related. That's going to be biogas,
mm-hmm,
biodiesel. Hydrogen fuel cells are a technology that hasn't really exploded, but it's actually
mm-hmm.
possible. It's electricity, split water into hydrogen and oxygen gas, and you can combust it. The
Yes.
benefits of combusting hydrogen is you get heat and water coming out of your tailpipe. So there's no reason not to be using it, but the industries have been suppressing these types of technology. And so I don't know what the future is going to look like. I don't know how much of a representative I can be for those things, but I'm definitely really passionate about hydrogen and just anything that like organic chemistry, right? Burning
Mm-hmm.
gasoline, burning gasoline is inorganic chemistry, I would say, because it produces carbon, nitrogen, all that other stuff. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, I like to take advantage of taking as much information in as I can, going to technology fairs.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, I had the opportunity to go to what was called a BC Tech Summit
Mm-hmm.
2017. And there was a lot of companies there that had tables or colleges and great information. Obviously, when you walk in the door, they give you a bag because they're going to give you like so much swag. You're going to fill that thing up. And a pen or
Absolutely.
like pamphlet, all that stuff. But what really stuck out to me was a company called Safety Authority. What their
Okay.
job is they use the most updated technology, whether it be a thermal camera or drones to inspect things. The best example I can give would be like a gondola or go
Mm-hmm.
inspect a lift, all that type of stuff. They get called to jobs all over the world, or sorry, all over Canada.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, there's just always work because things have to be inspected to make sure people are going to be
Mm-hmm.
safe.
Where in
So
Canada are you from?
I'm in British Columbia. If you know where Vancouver is, I'm about 3 hours in Vancouver. It's a really
Okay.
small. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
I know most people don't like telling people where they're from. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't mind promoting Merritt, BC, because we used to be. I don't know if we hold the title anymore. We used to be the country music capital of Canada. We have some pretty prominent music festivals that take place here, but because of COVID, they haven't happened.
Right.
And I would really the goal I started Riddle with was how can I drive more traffic to this town for tourism when things open back up again? Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm really passionate about that. There's only about 9,500 people here. Um, an example for how small it is. One of my teachers for college was the same teacher I had for grade six, and
Really?
he taught us guitar, how to play like the flute, like all sorts of like cool stuff. So he's a
Wow.
he's a millwright, and we're gonna learn hydraulics and motor control and just all sorts of cool stuff from him. Whatever knowledge he can unload on us. So
That's
yeah,
awesome, Cooper.
yeah, I'm
Wow.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I love the fact that you shared where you're from. So that explains, like, because I remember looking at your original videos and I realized that the town that you were walking through was very small and very narrow. And I was just saying, like, where is that? So now I do understand. Everything comes together. And that's pretty nice. And thank you so much for actually sharing so much on Rizzle and showing your hometown. I really enjoyed those videos, and
No
it helped me
worries.
to do better. You
Oh,
know.
sorry. A funny thing about my town is, someone will tell you their last name and you'll be like, "Oh, you're such and such's cousin, right?" Because
Yeah.
everyone's cousins. Like, so
Yeah.
that makes it a dangerous dating game.
Hmm. I could
but
tell it was a very small town. It's very nice
but
though.
we're definitely not like a redneck town. Um,
Hmm.
it's we have a really good mix of all different cultures. Actually, we have got Chinese people. We have actually a really strong East Indian population. Um, I never got an opportunity to, but we have a Sikh temple in town. And I don't know if you guys know about this, but the Sikh temple actually accepts visitors and they will feed you very, very well. So
Hmm.
definitely, if
Okay.
you're looking for some culture, check that out. And that's why recently I've been talking about asking permission to film because, if you call someone up on the phone, you say, "Hey, it's Cooper Collins from Busybug Productions, blah, blah, blah. How are you doing today?" It sounds like a business call and people want to get off that call, right? So
Hmm.
you gotta kind of confuse them. You gotta get in the door, right? Use this sales technique where you use vocal pitch. You gotta say,
Hmm.
"Hey, it's Cooper Collins from Busybug Productions, Merritt, BC. How are you doing today?" And then you're in the door, right? Because it gets your mind thinking. It's like you're asking them a question. Do I know this guy? Hey, do I actually know this business? They might be even hearing words in their head you didn't say, right? Then you start your pitch. You can ask them, "Hey, I'm a content creator and I really want to showcase your culture," or whatever you got to say, or, definitely write it down. You don't want to ad lib everything.
Right.
But yeah, definitely. I'm interested in sales and all that. I guess that's why I want to brand myself as an entrepreneur because I'm like all over the place for interests, trying to keep
You're
it.
wide open. Right. But that's really good though. Do you have a YouTube channel?
So I do, but it doesn't really have anything significant on it. It's the
Hmm.
same name I'm using here on Instagram.
Okay. Okay.
I think I
So,
filmed one video of a guy. He was
mhm,
acting like suspicious downtown, and I tried to get it posted to YouTube Shorts just because I've been watching a lot of those. I wanted to contribute back
mhm,
to that,
mhm.
but I don't know, nothing too significant.
Okay. Now, how did you get on Rizzle?
Okay, I was on YouTube, and this is back in 2020. I looked up how to make money 2020 like top five on YouTube, right?
Hmm.
And I clicked the newest video that came up, and this guy mentioned Rizzle, and like it was Rumble back then, and he was kind of down on it, but he's like, I made some money on there, but I don't really know where it's going, and ever since then, I guess it's just been history. I immediately
Hmm.
downloaded. I never used to like fold for those things, I wouldn't. Oh, I got to download an app. I don't know if I got enough space for that, or like I don't, just I wouldn't get into things, but I got into Rizzle and like I met Vesper very quickly. I met
Hmm.
one of my friends in there, Ashley Prasad, but she has actually deleted most of her social medias.
Okay.
Sam, a lot of people. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of new friends. Even Susan, she's freaking awesome.
Hmm. But what made you pursue Rizzle? Like you went on Rizzle and then you stayed, obviously. So what made you
Okay,
stay?
so with apps like TikTok or even Snapchat, right, you can have all these filters and effects that you can add, and I
Hmm.
find it intriguing that people are able to make these videos on their phone and do all this editing to it.
Hmm.
But I never got into it. I just felt like I didn't have the time. Coming to Rizzle when it was pretty basic and stuff, and the
Hmm.
videos could only be a minute long or a minimum of 15 seconds. For
Right.
me, that was just like bingo because, you just film things and send it out, see how people respond to it. Since then, I actually had a channel before the one I have now.
Hmm.
It's been deleted. I had to start over. Some things went a little south. But
Okay.
things are working really well now. And I don't know. I stayed with the app because of the simplicity.
Right. That's good. I mean, Rizzle is a great marketing app, I would say.
Mm.
It helps a lot of people, especially if you are an introvert. That's a great place to start. You know, it's good for everyone. But if you are like someone who really doesn't like to talk to people or reach out to people and you're kind of like uncomfortable or unsure, you know, it does help you break down those barriers, you know, and you're able to elevate yourself as you go through the process of getting involved on the app and meeting people. Like you said, you have some great connections of great people that you met on there, and you're still connected to them. And the bond just keeps growing, you know? So that's the beauty of Rizzle compared to a lot of other different apps by all means. The one-on-one connection, that relation is real. So I
Yeah.
have to give it to Rizzle for that. And one of the reasons why you're here, the Martine Show, is because of
Well,
connection, you know?
well, yeah, and I'd seen some of your interviews, and I'm like, you know, all you gotta do is ask, right? Like she's interviewing pretty much everybody, so yeah, and I like I
What do you
like
thought that
exactly.
you? What did you think that you would never be on? Like you wouldn't have an
No,
opportunity or
man,
something?
it's like I don't know. She's like a famous author and probably like a bestseller and all that stuff. I don't know if I can talk to this person. Just ask, I guess, right? Like,
Exactly. You know
um,
what? It's so funny, and I'm so glad that you shared this. This is so ideal
yeah,
because I did feel that when you finally came to the point to ask me, I did feel like you've probably been watching. And I did feel when you came finally and you're like, well, would you be interested? And I'm like, sure, of course. Like, why not?
yeah.
And I could feel the relief, like, oh, okay. And I'm like, just pick your date, get your date, sign up.
And you have it set up very well too. You know, I got a notification on my phone, and it's great. Like very professional.
Thank
People
you
could
so
learn
much.
from you.
Well,
I
I had to
yes,
upgrade. I had to upgrade because so many people were piling on me. And then I'm like,
yeah.
okay, there's a need for this. Let's make it happen. And I had to go the professional way to make sure
Mhm.
that, you know, and it's less work on me, you know, because once you guys sign up and that's it, it's all automated. It's working on itself. I don't have to worry about anything. Just work on anything else I have to do or sign up other people for other dates. And that's it. You know, so it's perfect.
That's another one of my interests too is system design. So whether that be a website or in electrical, we're working on programmable control interfaces and stuff like that. But there's some just really basic things that you can learn in life to apply to it. Um, where am I going with this? I don't know. Just talking
It
about
makes life a
whatever.
lot simpler. It makes life a lot
Yeah,
simpler. It really
definitely.
does. It really
It's good
does.
to. It's great to have all these Google services and things helping you out, but at the same time, I don't know if you've seen The Social Dilemma. I kind of feel like it's hard to be present in this world and really be aware of what's going on, right? Because if you, I got a mind sometimes like be in the car and I can look at a power pole and my mind just goes nuts. I'm like seeing all the bolts and just all the individual pieces and stuff. Just like my mind breaks things down and I like to understand everything. Like I was the type of kid 4 years old watching Treehouse TV, and I was just couldn't relax, trying to figure out like what's going on in the studio, how are they doing the lighting, all this stuff. Just like all these big adult questions that I really shouldn't be worrying about at that age. Um, but what I'm trying to say,
You're
or
very
what
inquisitive, which I love. And that's part of learning. That's awesome.
um, I guess what I'm trying to say is I really like to get down to the minutia of things and learn more about anything. What I really wanted to talk about earlier was that I tuned into your last interview and I heard you talking with someone else. I believe she had a similar story to you, and it was relating to your book, how you had to have, doctors were telling you that you had to have removed, but really you just kept fighting and you ended up getting what you needed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've had a period like that in my life also.
Go ahead,
Last
share it. Let us know about it.
I'll have to just think for a second, just keep some things personal and whatnot. Um,
No problem.
I've just been dealing with like constant bowel problems for a long time. So I've been to a couple specialists for like the gastroscope and colonoscopy. They gave me like a conscious sedation the first time, and actually gave me fentanyl for that, which
Mm-hmm.
was was not comfortable with that at all. But it didn't end up working out, so I had to go back again. And just one of those things, kind of frustrating. They don't really find anything, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the point where I need to go find a specialist and get more help, because you don't want to ever take no for an answer, or just like, oh, okay,
Absolutely.
I'm throwing up, or I don't have an appetite for breakfast or lunch or dinner. This is normal. It's definitely not. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, it's really hard to be what people are calling woke these days. Hello from New Jersey. I'm from Canada.
Day of ministry. Welcome aboard.
um, yeah, no, you definitely don't want to be one of those people that's constantly fighting the system. An
Mm-hmm.
anti-vax, anti-masker, or oh, I'm against big pharma, right? Because a lot of people do get helped by medications and stuff, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, um, I can't speak for every doctor, but the whole system in general would be far happier to have you on a combination of 3, 4, 5 meds. This
Mm-hmm.
one will give you energy. This one will take you back down. This one
Mm-hmm.
will make so you can actually sleep, and this one will make it so you can eat. And this one is an antipsychotic for all the side effects of all the others, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's the world that we live in. And when I was going through a period last year, getting really, really sick, my lymph nodes swole up everywhere. They did the whole blood testing, swabbing, everything. Couldn't find anything. I had to change my diet. I went on
Mm-hmm.
a complete alkaline, raw diet. It was more or less like, I'm not motivated to eat well. I'm driven to eat well because I have
Mm-hmm.
to. Because
Yes,
you
I
go to the
understand.
doctor, they're not helping you, but you're still getting sick and you're still not sleeping, and your thoughts are going crazy, all that stuff. I made that change. And I'm a little bit down on myself now because it wasn't a permanent change. I need to go back to that lifestyle. I know that's where I'm going to be a lot happier and a lot better. So that was the idea behind my channel, the daily regimen, is I wanted to show people um, what I was doing back then. I wasn't using Rizzle then, unfortunately, but wanted
Mm-hmm.
to show people how I would make alkalizing shots, or the uses of distilled water versus just drinking it, because you do need to have minerals in your water.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if you know about oil pulling,
Yeah.
swishing coconut oil around in your mouth, and just
Yes,
like this
I've done it
holistic
before.
dental care, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remineralize your teeth, all sorts of things, because I'm the type of person who they're like, hey, we've x-rayed your mouth and those wisdom teeth need to come out. And I'm like, okay, but like I was born with them. Like, what are you gonna take my tonsils next? And like take my lymph nodes out of my neck because they were swollen, get rid of my thyroid. Like I had to have I've had surgery twice. I went
Mm-hmm.
for nose surgery, which was a really exciting thing for me because I used to like sound like this in high school, and like nobody could hear me talking and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it was embarrassing. Like, I didn't join vocal jazz because of that, because there just was not enough air coming out of my nose to sound proper, or to breathe when I'm getting that anxiety and stuff. So that was, hey GQ.
What's
So
up,
that
GP?
was a really, really big thing for me. Obviously there was pain, um, and just recovery period. I got to miss school for 2 weeks for that, but it's totally worth it. The other surgery I had, um, I think it was about 14 or 15. I ended up finding um, I was getting a lot of pain. I had varicose veins, and basically they had to go in and fix that, right? And the doctor told me, he's like, this is one of the most severe cases we've seen. I think he said like ever, because I could have lost a testicle.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, like,
It's
yeah.
okay.
And yeah, so I had to go get surgery on that. It was not a painful thing. You have a scar from it, whatever, right? But they fixed it, and I'm all good to go. So that's why when I was getting sick last year and I was having swelling and pain and all that, like in everywhere in my body, but also there too, I was like super freaked out. I didn't know, like, I was just like, I don't want to lose my fertility. Like, I'm the
Mm-hmm.
only family. I've got three sisters, but I'm the only guy. My dad, he's done having kids or whatever. The only
Hmm.
other cousins in my family is my cousin, and his wife split up with him and took the kids. So I don't know what's happening there. I gotta continue the bloodline somehow. So,
Absolutely.
I can't, so to speak, lose my balls.
I hear you. Wow. I am so delighted to have you share this intimate part of you on the Martine Show here for us
Yeah,
tonight because it's one thing when women talk about women empowerment and women's health and things that women go through, but when you hear a man talking about men's health,
yeah,
men reproductive system, the things that you guys go through, like I said, you were watching my the 2 lives ago. Yeah, you were watching it because I
yeah,
did mention that men go through the same things, and the truth about it is that men, it's a taboo type of conversation, so men are not talking about it, but
yeah.
women, we're a little more out there, and there are a lot of more movements for women to be able to have platforms to talk about that. But I commend you for coming on this show today and letting us know about this part of you because
Yeah,
a lot of
definitely.
men
Like,
need to hear it.
I'm willing to share some more on that too. Like,
Go ahead.
um, from my perspective, or whatever, you go to the doctor and you say, "Hey, I'm having these problems, itching, whatever might be going on," right? And they're immediately like, "Okay, here's a 5 panel, right? Because you've definitely been sleeping around. So let's make sure you're not infectious with
Hmm.
any of these things, right?" And if that comes back negative and it comes back negative and they keep doing the same tests, right, they're going to think there's something wrong with this guy, right? Like he's just not right in the head or focus on it too much. What you really need to do is you got to go to a specialist for those types of things. Because, like in your case, you said he was referring back to the doctors what they told you before. He was saying they don't know what they're talking about. Like it would have basically destroyed your chances of
Yes,
being reproductive and stuff like that, right? And you got to be
absolutely.
careful with doctors too because it's easy for them to say, "Here's antibiotics." Antibiotics can give you candida, which everyone is going to have at some point or time in their life because
Hmm.
you hit McDonald's on dollar drink days and you get the freaking big cup or whatever, and that just feeds candida.
Hmm.
These are things that you can't go to the doctor and say, I think I got candida. Sometimes it's treated as taboo because it's like, oh, that's like that holistic diagnosis of, stomach pain or whatever. I don't know. Some doctors are a lot better than others, but at
Hmm.
least the ones that I've gone to, I've hit constant roadblocks. And where I've really gotten help was from people who are doctors of natural medicine. And they can say, hey, this food might help you. You can try eating this way differently and see if that doesn't make a difference for you. But ultimately, what will make the difference is being driven to do better because motivation is crap. Like that's what David Goggins says. And
Hmm.
I like that guy. He's pretty cool.
I I totally agree with you. Motivation is one thing, but you have to be totally driven, like you said. You have to really want it like badly. And that was one thing that was with me is that I wanted to heal. There was no other way. Okay, I needed to heal, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't lose my chances on anything. I wanted to make sure that I could move forward and be free. I didn't want
Yeah.
to be tied down to no medication or a prescription or I just want to live my life and just be free. And I totally understand where you're coming from. I could totally identify and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And the thing about it is natural herbs is very important in our lives. One thing 2020 has taught us is to go back to basics, and that's going back to natural herbs as opposed to stepping outside and then just buying everything that's around there to just put in your system. Pretty much
Yeah.
eating home cooked food is very, very important, and that's something that
Yeah.
I focused on for a very long time. And
Mm-hmm.
drinking tea, you don't understand how very simple drinking a cup of tea every day, especially in the morning, helps with digestion. Some
Mm-hmm.
people don't do that. Some people rather drink coffee. Well, it's the other way around. You should drink tea, even if you do drink coffee, but minimize your amount of that coffee and don't have
Yeah.
it be habitual and
Well,
don't have it have like a big load of caffeine in it either.
there's even healthy alternatives to coffee like rooibos, or
Yes.
I don't. How do you say that? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Is it
It's white
rooibos? Yeah.
rooibos. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know if you've also heard of chaga mushroom, but
I heard of
it's something that's
chicken.
yeah, it's very dark once you brewed it, and I would say it's a really good substitute to black coffee. It's not going to have all
Mm-hmm.
those same notes in there, but it's an antioxidant. It's got your polysaccharides. It's
Mm-hmm.
generally just good for you. Like when I tell people I'm into mushrooms, I got to be very specific. Mycology interests me, but I'm really interested in the medicinal mushrooms. So people
Yeah.
talk about psilocybin and cubensis, but I'm talking about lion's mane, chaga, shiitake, turkey tail, um,
Awesome.
a couple more. All those like really powerful mushrooms. I found with
Mm-hmm.
lion's mane that it actually, it's got like a nerve regeneration property to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like my dad, who's had a lot of joint replacement surgeries. He was taking it for a while and said that he actually got a bit of feeling back in his foot. So I,
Nice.
sorry FDA if you're going to come after me for that, but like there's things out there that you can use to get better. And I
Absolutely.
think maybe an important thing would be just like keep that journey personal because if you're going to be boastful about it and stuff, people will definitely come against you, but
Mm-hmm.
also make sure to share with a broad range of people because if you're not going to take opinions from people and say, well, I just watched this one guy on YouTube, you could damage your health too.
Mm-hmm.
There's some pretty bad health tips out there.
Yes,
Um,
there are. There are. I mean, the
this
whole
one,
thing is to pretty much listen to everything, but you have to have sound judgment. You really do.
yeah, this one guy that I watched on YouTube. Um, you can think whatever you want of this, but I have tried it. This is part of remineralizing your teeth. What I would do is I would create this mouthwash with distilled water. You have to weigh or exactly measure all your proportions. You would add a lot of baking soda to it, and then
Mhm.
do you know what trisodium phosphate is?
Yes.
Um, yeah, it's like a chemical degreaser. So what you have to
Hmm.
do is you have to it's exactly and only that in the box, nothing else. This
Okay.
guy was actually recommending to like a gallon jug milk jug, adding an eighth teaspoon in there with this baking soda and stuff. And
Okay.
there's a bunch of reasons why he explained it. There's actually a chemistry explanation for how the minerals would get pulled into your teeth.
Hmm.
Um, but basically, when I used this rinse, I found that, pushing it, really getting it through my teeth and stuff, especially going to the dentist, it pulled out stuff that I never even was able to get out with flossing. My teeth
Hmm.
were visibly whiter, stronger, wasn't getting the sensitivity. And that's doing it over a week or more. But what I was trying to say is you got to be careful taking health advice like that because trisodium phosphate is
It could be
like
dangerous. Yeah.
yeah, it's hazardous to your health. Like if you're gonna add a tablespoon or an eighth of a tablespoon, even, um, you got to do your titrations right. So it's not for a lot of people. There's things that you know I'm able to do or understand like chemistry and all those physics and that type of stuff, but some people aren't, and so that's why they shouldn't
Hmm.
get into this because you can hurt yourself.
Absolutely. That's why, like me, everything that I've tested or done was because I'm good with pharmacology. I studied it in school.
Oh,
So
really?
when it comes to that, I know exactly pretty much what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
that's based on my also pre-existing conditions. That's based on my personal history.
So knowing that you have a bit of a background in pharmacology, I was just gonna wonder, is there anything in the United States that can test people, test their blood or whatever, and take an average to tell them, okay, for your age, your body weight, here's your dopamine levels, here's your serotonin levels. You know what I'm saying? Because they give out a lot of antidepressants or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. You
Hmm.
get GABA inhibitors. I'm on an alpha 2 inhibitor, I believe. Um,
Hmm.
just lots of stuff like that. Is there any blood type or not starting at blood type, but blood test specific um, thing that they can do to make sure you're on the right medication?
I'm not sure if there's a specific blood test that could state that you're on the right medication. I mean, a lot of the times when it comes to those particular medications, especially antidepressants, you have
Yeah.
to notate and journal how you feel before you take them and while you're
Yeah.
on them. Because every day is a new experience.
Okay.
You're not going to feel
Um,
the same from the time that you start, the time that you're in the middle, or the time that you're at the end point of it. And you have to capture it on your own to actually tell the physician who prescribed it to you what's going on. Because I was at one time on an antidepressant, and I specifically told the doctor, like, I'm not doing this anymore. I feel like I'm losing my sense of self. I can't do this.
yeah.
And from there, I got off it, but you have to have that willpower to be like, no, enough, I'm done. Or be
Yeah.
like,
I've,
it
I've
makes
had
me
that
feel
happen
queasy or
too.
whatever, you know?
You get the invasive thoughts and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I've got to get off this because I was not like that before.
Yeah.
And that's
You don't
why
want to get,
medicine can scare me. But coming back to the natural food topic, if you can find signs, and your body will give you signs that you're low in serotonin. So, that might be goosebumps or being really cold. And it'll be a grouping of things, right? It's not right to WebMD everything, but it's okay to go on DuckDuckGo and, find real information that pertains to your situation, so to speak. But if you find that your dopamine is low, you should definitely be eating white rice and including things like sesame seed oil on there. Make it taste good, but maybe don't go crazy with the salt. Add some sea salt or whatever. Just
mhm.
start thinking about what you can give your body and be like, oh, I'm gonna add some minerals here, um, some antioxidants there, and like that's how you're supposed to eat is in groups and like get these different things throughout the whole day. Because rather than having 3 meals, it actually is far better to graze on different things throughout the whole day. You
Yeah.
have some berries. If you're into dairy, drink some milk. Whole milk is the best, but it's hard to get.
Hmm.
Apparently, whole milk cures allergies. I've heard. So I'm from a farming community, and maybe someday I can get an interview or a tour with a farm and get me some whole milk because that'd be like illegal, but also fantastic because I don't want the cultures to be pasteurized. Like I want to know what milk is.
Hmm. I
People don't
understand.
realize too, like, hey, you got this milk in the grocery store in the jugs. Okay, there's fat in there. Have you ever wondered why the fat does not separate to the top of the jug? Like you've never had to take a milk jug and like shake it, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not sure you're from the East or whatever, but at least the East here does not use milk jugs. Their milk comes in bags, and everyone
Yeah.
has a. You
Hmm.
guys have that? Yeah,
No,
plastic canister.
we
You put the
have
phone in.
places, certain markets that have the bags, but then we also have the jugs as well. Certain markets have the jugs. But the
Okay.
more, like, let's say, the more unusual places where it's like very large marketplace and stuff, there are some of them that do have the bags. It depends on the company, but they do have the bags.
Yeah. What I was going to say is the reason that the milk doesn't separate or the fat doesn't come out is because after they've put it through this basically big steam boiler to kill all of the cultures, it gets force fed through all these super, super tiny tubes at high pressure, and that homogenizes or breaks down the things into the smallest molecular structures that they can be, combines them, and then they don't mix after that. So fortunately, there's no homogenizer that's been added, as there
Hmm.
would be commonly in chocolate. You're always going to find sunflower or soy lecithin in any product, especially the cannabis industry, huge on sunflower soy lecithin.
Hmm.
Sunflower lecithin, great for your health. Soy products, not so awesome. So you just got to be aware of that type of stuff. I like the power that people can take by, first of all, understanding, hey, there's ingredients on this product, and the list that they occur in is the amount that's contained in there. So, the soda here, carbonated water is the first thing, but there's probably only enough in there to dissolve all the massive amount of sugars that are the rest of the ingredients on here, right? So
Hmm.
you got to be knowledgeable what's in your food. In high school, we had posters, and it would show you a can of pop, Slurpee or whatever, and it would show you a picture or like a really good visual representation of how much sugar that actually is. Like, if this has got 54 grams of sugar in it, I can pour out 54 grams of sugar in it. I couldn't hold that in both my hands. That's a lot of
Right.
sugar. So it's
Absolutely.
got to be aware of those things. What is glucose? What is fructose? Um,
Yes.
is sugar really
They're
as
all
addictive
sugars at
as,
the end of the day.
yeah,
Different types of sugars.
like you gotta ask the question too, is sugar really as addictive as heroin? like they say. Because I hear people swear that when they try to quit sugar, they go through cold sweats,
You do.
withdrawal,
You
mood
go
swings, all
also
sorts of stuff.
withdrawal.
So yeah,
Yeah, you do.
so like it's that question that nobody really asks because we're all addicted. Nobody realizes it. That's
It
what people
definitely
mean
is
when they say,
an addiction. If you think about it, think about it.
yeah,
Like if you normally eat like let's say stuff that's outside, fast food. Now
yeah,
think about the things that turn into sugar. You're drinking soda, you're eating bread, okay? You're having sweets, all right? You're having like so many different things that turns basically into sugar constantly. If you're constantly eating rice all the time, every day,
yeah,
it's gonna turn into sugar. You know,
yeah,
starch and carbohydrates, they all turn into sugar at the end of the day. So
yeah.
if you're drinking juice, you carbonated drinks, they all have flavor, whatever. Sugar. Everything is sugar. And then you're
Yeah.
having cakes and all that stuff. It's sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar. Pasta, constantly. If you're eating pasta, eating pizza all the time, sugar on top of sugar. You know,
Oh,
so
it's in everything. If it's a
yeah,
processed food, the first thing you're going to notice about it is there's either sugar, salt, or MSG. You're going to find
exactly.
those things everywhere, right?
So now,
I got like
once
sunflower seeds here, right? And they got MSG on them. They taste great, but like,
you
you
get
just
hooked, you get
they get the
hooked.
chemicals into you for sure.
Yeah,
They
you get
really
hooked.
do.
And the
Get
thing
your
about it
dose
is
for sure.
this, once you decide that you're not going to
Yeah,
be in
where
the
are those
habit
sunflower seeds?
of drinking and eating those things on a continuous basis, then that's when your body starts to go through that withdrawal where you're like, well, I need to, your body is, you're saying to yourself, your brain, you're saying to yourself, I'm not having soda today, or I'm diminishing on soda. I'm not having coffee today. I'm not having, bread today. I'm not
Yeah,
having pasta tomorrow. And then your body starts to go through this thing where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm craving. I'm this, I'm that.
yeah.
You go through cold sweats. You go through that high, low, hot,
But
cold,
the key
everything.
that I found out is like when you get to that point, if you listen to your thoughts, you're gonna cave to it every single time. But if you listen to your body, because your body knows what to do, right? Like you take in food and it's like I need carbohydrate, I need this. It does like more chemistry than we can even understand, right? It's crazy. So you try to quit something like sugar or something, your body's gonna be like you're gonna get this energy and you're like, what's that about? So maybe if you listen to your body, you might go for a walk, go to the store, get out, get some fresh air, exercise, all that, right? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people think, okay, I gotta sit here and focus on not having sugar now, right? That doesn't work. Like
No,
just go
no.
live your life. Just live life. You might be like, oh shoot, I'm a bit sweaty or whatever. Okay, throw some pit stick on, have 2 showers if you got to, whatever, right? You might be like, oh man, I'm kind of like squirming in line here, like I can't stay still. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
next week will be better, right? I just keep going and keep
Absolutely.
going. It's
It's you got to get into the art of substitution. Once you realize that, okay, if I can't do A, but I could try to do
mm,
B, let's try to do B. If B doesn't work, then we have C. As long as
one
you know
thing.
that you have options and you could just substitute, then you work better with your mind like that. But you can't focus on what you cannot have. That's not going to work at
With
all.
sorry, with substitutions, the one thing to be careful with is if someone's addicted to something, they do what's called addiction transfer. So they take
Mhm.
the one thing that they're addicted to, they quit and immediately replace it with something else. And that can be
Yeah.
something as small as the notifications on your phone, right? Like just
Mhm.
stuff like that. Anything that's going to give you that dopamine hit, because ultimately, yeah, you want to detox from sugar. Um, you want to detox from all of the toxins in your body from using Teflon. Maybe you used it for years and you never knew any better until stuff came out that it's not healthy. Um, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Um,
Take your time.
it,
Hi, Sam. Welcome
I guess what I'm
aboard.
trying to say is just like the goal is the same or whatever, right? Detoxification is detoxification. Just don't fall into I'm gonna buy this product or that because it can detox my body. Your body already knows how to detox. You just need to give it what it requires, which is water, exercise, lots of fresh air, good amounts of sleep. and just good positive goals that are actually going to contribute towards what you want. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
what I tripped up on earlier, and this I remember what I was saying now. Um, is that the weird things our brains do? Oh gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue, and then it's just like, yeah, no, no, gone again. Um, okay, actually, sorry. Detox. The goal is the same in the end. Doesn't matter if you're trying to detox from a drug, or and trying to get rid of addiction too, right? Addiction to your computer, social media, um, just whatever you might be addicted to, right? The goal in the end is dopamine detox because
Mm-hmm.
everybody is too hardwired and too addicted for their own reward system, and that's
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, I think, what being woke is being in control of that, sleeping well, eating healthy. Hey, Eric Score, he's my friend from cadets like years ago. I freaking love you,
Really?
man.
Welcome
I
aboard,
love you, man.
Alexor. Hi, Ricky. Wow.
Man, yeah, great memories from cadets back in the day. Would you? Could I talk about that for a bit?
Of course, this is your time.
All right. So I went to cadet camp. I'm pretty sure in like the summer of 2014 ish or something, and I actually went for band camp because I was a
Mm-hmm.
trumpet back then, and we had an opportunity to play for the Lieutenant Governor of Canada, which surprisingly, her name is Judy Guichon. She's was born and raised here, and like they own a ranch like just out of town. So it was like something so local, so cool, right?
Okay.
Um, we're at the Army Cadet Camp, just learning how to do band and like practicing for what it would be like to join a marching band in a parade, all that stuff. And I don't know, I just really appreciate cadets because of all the people that you end up meeting. Again, further extending your network, but also the opportunities to, learn how to shoot the air rifles because there's shooting competitions. There's
Mm-hmm.
a contest where you could go to Bisley, England, and go shoot in a contest and actually have the chance to have tea with the Queen. So like just cool opportunities and things that were available. If I got my fitness level high enough and went to go train at a camp, I could have gotten a red beret and
Mm-hmm.
jumped out of an aircraft with a parachute, like all sorts of different things that were available to me when I was like, 16, 17. So
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty cool, right? But I feel like people are kind of down on cadets now, thinking, oh, you're trying to turn our kids into soldiers. And it's like, no, we're just going on the best camping trips of our life. Like,
No,
just crazy.
there's still a lot of positivity to it, regardless of what has been going on with current
Yeah,
events.
it's a leadership program with military
It's still
discipline,
an
and that's,
honorable program. Yeah, that's really cool.
and
Thank you so much for sharing that. We would have never known that you went into cadet school.
yeah, no worries. And well, it was more of like a voluntary program, but worked my way up and, had those experiences of, okay, we're going to spend 6 hours paddling across a lake. Here's a filter, stick the end in the lake and pump it into your Nalgene bottle. Here's an MRE. Sorry, we don't have a heater. Let's eat them cold.
Yeah,
Freaking,
oh my
there's,
gosh, that's straight up
there's,
military style.
yeah, there's like Pop
That's war.
Tarts. There was Pop Tarts. The trade value of those was like
Yeah.
up here, and then you'd have like the bread. The bread was like all the way down there because it was like space bread. I don't know how to describe
Mhm.
it.
That sounds
Put it in
fun.
water and it expands 3 times its size. It's just, I don't know. But, basically, in the same way how I watch content on YouTube and I want to give back to that, I had such a
Mhm.
good time with cadets. I'm hoping I'll have the opportunity to volunteer or even work with the Corps because their
Mhm.
100th anniversary is coming up soon for like how long the cadet corps has been out. And I don't know, I'm a big supporter of it. Still got my uniform hanging there, but should give that back soon.
Wow, that is sweet. Very, very nice. Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, when I was in high school and stuff, I faced a lot of anxiety and my stomach problems too. A lot of like getting sick in the morning, so I'd be late to classes or just straight up anxiety. Okay, I got to get out and just go for a walk. Or
Mm-hmm.
I went to a multi-purpose room to play the piano and that type of stuff. just kind of freestyling, doing whatever I heard in my head or whatever I could work with based on what I was playing. But as an escape in like grade 11, I, I've always been into bike riding, right? I
Hmm.
don't have a bike that works right now, so I'm not like too consistent with it. It's not like I go out every weekend or whatever. I've just been super interested in it. If there's an opportunity to ride bikes, I love riding bicycles, basically, right? In grade 11, I started to get inspired because I remember when I was about 5 or 6 going to Riverside Park in Kamloops, and um, there was this guy doing what's called trials bike riding. So he actually had a headset on, talking through the loudspeakers so the crowd could hear him. But he had a specialized bike that was designed with just so he could get a lot of torque from it and stuff. And he was able to like hop up on these little posts that were like this big on his back tire, and then like hop up on another one and land and balance on the front tire and balance and hop around and just like flips and all that type of stuff, like super precise movements where he could drop down off of something that was like 10 feet tall and land properly on the bike and just all that stuff. And it's called trials bike riding. And so I started to get into it, built a couple bikes for myself to do it. And I haven't done it in a long time, but I actually have an Instagram page for it. It's cooper.trials. If you guys check
Okay.
out my Busybug Productions, I'm not sure if I've hidden the post. I hope it's still there, but I had one where I took a screenshot of all the other Instagrams that I have.
Hmm.
Those were things that I started, I think, right in high school. So I need to get the logins again for those. But I was into fitness, I was into health and trials biking. So I got a couple videos and posts on that. But, I get anxiety and stuff, and I would like just flee school sometimes and just go ride my bike, go up to
Hmm.
this windy canyon, and it looks all like sand, rock, and clay, and just like this ravine that's been created by water just ripping through it. And I just go right up there. And I remember, you can't mash your pedals, you got to spin, but it's just this constant, meditative thing, just pulling, pushing, getting your heart to go, um,
Right.
sweating like crazy or whatever. That's been a big thing for me ever since my childhood. Is I just gotta like sometimes just get that energy out and like I don't know. As a kid, I used to have meltdowns, and I gotta move away from that and do
Hmm.
something artistic. Hop on a bike, and ride and just do something, learn some new skills. Because it's what I like doing. Yeah.
That's an awesome thing to do. At least you're active and you're always wanting to learn a new stuff. Like your brain is always working. You're
Mm-hmm.
not stagnant at all, which I think that's brilliant, especially in this day and world. A lot of people are very steadfast in their own ways, very stagnant energy. And you're constantly on the go. So that's perfect.
I try to be, but I'd be lying if I said that I don't have those down periods or even like months of my life where nothing's really going on. And
Of course, we all have it.
but knowing what I know now, like I only just heard that quote from David Goggins.
Hmm.
Motivation won't do anything for you. You have to be driven, and I'm gonna start applying that. See where
Yeah,
I can go.
you got to
Because
start
at
equipping
school,
people.
we're using this classroom right now. It's the one we're in has geothermal pumps, and they're always humming and whirring. We can't hear each
Hmm.
other over it. So we
Hmm.
moved to the Department of Trades building, and we're borrowing their classroom right now. Um, and holy crap, I'm mentally exhausted. We wired like 5 different circuits today. It was
It's
crazy.
okay. Take your time. Take your time. We're here.
So yeah, we're in the Women of Trades building, and we're just like, damn, it's some fine women. I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. I didn't know what to say. um, no, we're borrowing their classroom, and I'm sorry, I can't really remember where I was going with that. It all tied into what we were saying, but we just mental
Okay.
exhaustion is kicking me right
Okay.
now.
So one thing I
Um,
wanted to ask you when you spoke about the anxiety, have you identified when you get into this mode where you're agitated and you're going through this whole anxiety thing, what is
yeah.
it that has triggered you to get to that point? Like, have you identified that?
So I've actually talked to mental health nurses
Mm-hmm.
several times. You have to do an intake, and then you get to talk to the nurse, and then a
Mm-hmm.
psychologist. Like you go through those levels, so it does take a lot of
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, tell them everything. You'd be truthful and everything, and they've always told me like we don't think you're bipolar. Or you got those problems, but clearly you're having troubles with sleeping. You're not eating properly. Not having the appetite when you need it. And then just having like that constant stress, which is burning your adrenals out. So a combination of things, right, can produce symptoms in a person where it's really easy to say that's psychosis, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, psychosis can be a temporary state, right? Some people
Mm-hmm.
do have genetic disposition to schizophrenia and bipolar, and even inevitably Alzheimer's, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of symptoms and things that can contribute to the actions and behaviors of a person. So I found for me a lot. I was working at grocery store, Save on Foods. I worked in a lot of positions there. I actually just got the letter in the mail today that said we've officially like accepted your resignation. You had this phone call with your manager 2 weeks ago. Uh, we're terminating any relationship with you. Is what they said. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that sounds nice, but I was working in the bakery. A lot of stuff that comes from a grocery store bakery, by the way, guys, is not freshly baked. It comes in
Mm-hmm.
frozen, these little like dough pucks or whatever shaped bread called a par bake. You break them out onto sheets. They go in an oven. It's all timed, all computerized, whatever. Bakes them. You take them out. You put these covers on them, and it goes into a proofer, which uses high pressured steam to do the rest of the baking and the rising. Take them
Mm-hmm.
out, dry them. That's how bread's done in a grocery store. If they say it's fresh baked, it's not. Um,
I know.
but
Thank you so much for
basically,
sharing, though. Well,
I
we
noticed
really, we
there
know.
was times where I was closing the store, and it's like, okay, I know exactly what my job is. I've done this many times before. In fact, people were commending me for going above and beyond, like saying, like, hey, the floor is so clean. Like how did you do that? And it's just like, keep your secrets, do what you got to do. But um, there was times where it's like, okay, 3 nights in a row I haven't slept. Um, I'm worrying about stuff that's probably not really going on. I'm in school, stressing because I got all these teachers that I need to communicate with why I wasn't there earlier this morning, or
Mm.
you know, just having trouble staying in class. My mom was very, very helpful, always sending me lunches and stuff, like right up till grade 12. I'm not gonna lie, she sent me a lunch today. Like that's yes, she's
That's
freaking awesome.
sweet.
And it's just like certain things when my stomach was churning, like the appetite wasn't there. It's like, no, I can't have a juice box right now. Like that's gonna change the acidity of my stomach and I'm gonna throw up. Like I was that sensitive just to the anxiety and whatever was going on.
Mm.
But basically just the stress of being in school and everything, not sleeping, not eating breakfast because a lot of people skip breakfast and go start their day. It all contributes to this downward spiral of, maybe your dopamine, your serotonin's getting low, your self esteem or confidence might be dropping. And I was getting into these states where I'd be at work, knowing exactly what my job is, but I was just so clouded, literally could not think. I'd be standing there and I'd just be stalling. And
Mm.
then the stress, you think about, okay, I've got this long to close, and just the thought of that would literally heat my body up, like just
Mhm.
like hot flashes. And people, you tell them, be like, yeah, I'm having hot flashes. Oh, what are you, a woman? They'd say. It's like, no, it's like literally a thing. Like you can have a hot flash, like, from stress,
We
from
all go
anxiety.
through it. We all go through it. It has nothing to do with age, has nothing to do with gender. We all go through it. Men
Yeah,
and women. Okay.
I know.
So
It's
yeah.
just what people would say to me, right? And it's just like, okay, I guess I just won't tell you about what I'm going through, but just stuff like that. I go in the freezer to go grab more par bakes, and I'd just be like all
Yes, you
this heat,
stand there.
like
Yeah.
yeah, just like damn man, it's like I don't care about the summertime anymore. Like yeah,
Oh,
spring
we
on the way.
understand. We
Yeah,
understand. Oh my God. I'm so happy
yeah.
that you sharing this from a male point of view. This is so
But
needed. And Miss Daya Ministry is saying, sending love to you. She says, thank you for sharing it so transparently.
thank you.
Yes, this is what people need to hear, especially men.
Totally.
And women need to hear it coming from a male perspective at 100%. This is so
Yeah.
perfect.
Um, basically where I was going with that is, the mental confusion, they're not sleeping, everything added up to this point where it's just like, I don't want to say I can't because then that's going to mean I'm right,
Mm,
then but physically, mentally, I'm too exhausted and cannot do this. And there was some times where it's like, hey, I'm really sorry, but I got to go home. Just put my needs first, so I don't have an even worse day tomorrow and like a worse day at work the next day.
right.
That's really what I wanted to say about that. Someone might seem like they're pretty crazy, but there's a lot of things that contribute to a psychosis. And a
Absolutely.
psychosis isn't permanent for a person, but the research is showing that the more times that you go back into those psychotic states or whatever, that becomes a mental pattern, and then you do develop a mental illness. So it's
Mm,
important to minimize stress triggers. And when you're getting into those states, just do everything you can to get back to normal and everything, because you don't want to normalize those patterns for your body. You want to have a homeostasis where things are balanced, where your body's not like, okay, I'm freaking out right now, but I'm shivering the next minute or whatever. You want to get on top of
right.
that stuff. That's thyroid, or just starting with an alkaline diet is the most basic thing.
Yes, it
Like,
is.
another one of my interests, I got really into juicing. We had a
Yes.
we had a juicer, but I did not like how wasteful it was, so I actually bought a hand crank juicer. It's got like an auger, and just the way it's designed, you put your stuff in there, you just and
Okay. The
it, it's
old-fashioned one. Yeah.
yeah, it produces really nice pulp and really really fantastic juice. So if you're a baker and you're juicing blueberries, throw the blueberry pulp in your muffins. Great fiber, antioxidants. For me, just renovating our kitchen and everything right now, and sometimes I don't have time to do baking or whatever. I've got compost going outside, so throw it in the compost. That's going to feed us eventually, because I guess I went a bit crazy when I was working at my first job, McDonald's, and just thinking about investments, things that return. Walmart was having a sale on berry bushes. And so I bought a raspberry. I have these raspberries that they're orange, and then these other ones that are red. I bought some
Mm-hmm.
strawberries. So I have white strawberries, which are pineapple flavor. I got cherry flavored strawberries, and then two other varieties. We've got a big patch of those now because they keep growing. They keep replicating themselves. Bought some blueberries. Um, what else? We got honeyberries and two black currants, red currants, gooseberries, all that stuff. But they're all in the ground, right? And they're all going to get fed by our compost and just by our efforts watering it, and making sure that the water is being kept in the ground. And
That's
I got a
awesome.
picture of
Love
it.
it.
If the picture of it comes up on my smart home thing here, I'll show you. But
Okay.
it's satisfying for me to be able to look back on that decision and say, this is the fruits of my work, or the fruits of my labor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, People might have really bad things to say about you, and I'm gonna try to keep religion out of this because I don't know how people feel about that and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a Christian, and what the Bible says is, people have bad things to say about you. They'll remember
Mm-hmm.
the past and bring all that up, but what God sees and what people really do see in the bigger picture is the fruits that you have.
Absolutely. 100%.
I think about that so much. It's like, for me, just my relationship with God or whatever is, I'm out in the garden and I'm watering and I'm providing for that plant, right? And I'm giving to it, and I'm looking at it. Oh, there's a bug that shouldn't be there, and you're just getting rid of it and just tending to it and all that. It's like, if there's a God and everything, that's what He's doing for me, right? I got my
Mm-hmm.
dog and I snuggle with her because I love her, and she snuggles back and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
you get those thoughts. It's like, it's a beautiful day out right now, and the dog's curled up in a ball being all lazy. Maybe I should get her out there, get her motivated, and just get her in the sunshine, even if that's just sitting out there on the step and she's blinking, waking up, or whatever, right? You just think about those things that you can do for that being or that plant or that part of nature or whatever, right? And just interacting with it, because that's what life is. You don't
I
have to
love,
necessarily be all
I love,
the positive vibes only, right? But those things will
yes,
come to you where it's like, hey, I can do this, and that makes me happy. And what comes next, right?
absolutely. I love the fact that you dived into spirituality because I was going to ask you about spirituality without even you knowing, because we've been talking about holistic medicine and everything. And We talked about the disorders in terms of, the psyches and all that. And I wanted
Yeah,
to know
we went
how,
through like the
yeah, I wanted
we
to know how
went
you
through like
connect
the
to
whole
source.
DSM six. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to know how you connect to source, and you diving into this factor basically is just most ideal, and it shows me that you're so committed to yourself, your personal being, your health. It's just like your whole ensemble, and how you just keep reconnecting every single time. You don't get discouraged, regardless of what you have been faced, regardless of what people might have said to you. They might have said some bad things to you, but you're always encouraged no matter what. And I appreciate that. Daya was saying here, she says great perspective and advice. Your awareness is everything. So that is something for you to
Oh,
really hold on to.
so
She was
yeah.
about to leave because she had to put her son to bed, but then she says, I'm listening. She's staying because it got deeper. And we
Yeah,
have more
I'm
people
just
to
looking at the
listen,
comments
more to
now. Thank you guys
hear.
so much.
Yes, she goes, you have a great heart, God filled. Like, seriously, seriously. I mean, Cooper, I've seen you on Rizzle app, and this is a whole nother dimension. Now you see why I do this show, because it's a whole
Yeah,
different
yeah,
connection. Okay.
yeah. It gives you a chance to actually sit down and then like a minute video is so limited, right? Like some things take me a while to articulate. Like I think I've mentioned before, I'm into music and all that, right? As a young person, I always heard music in my head, but it was like, okay, I can hear a song on the radio, and literally with the power of visualization in my mind, I was able to like cut out the audio from an instrument that was playing, or like hear just one element of the song versus everything else. Because I was always in my head as a kid, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
I just created like these thought tools in a sense, just to interact with things I'm hearing, seeing, whatever. I could look at something, I remember, imagine it falling off the desk or falling off the table, and just exactly how it happened, right? So like I was stuck in my head, all these big questions, but in elementary school, not enough people there to really answer them yet. That's why I'm super excited to be in college. Like all the right people are finally there and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I always knew I wanted to do music because I could hear full entire songs in my head, like every single part. And it's so hard to put that out there and tell people and be like no, like I know that this is music, like not just, oh yeah, it's music, great, right? Here, I'll show you my mixtape. No, it's like if somebody says create a classical song, okay, I can do all of that in my head right now and hear all the elements. The challenge I face now is getting my focus in one place and putting it into the digital audio workstation. Because like I'm interested in movie scoring. I'm interested in like um audio engineering, audio mixing. In high school, I did some backup mixing, but I actually got to mix the vocal jazz class. So there's this one girl and she's singing oh, what do you call it? Song "Just a Small Town Girl" living in that song or whatever. And she was
Yeah.
like very very loud at some point. So I'm just like covering the volume, and you're just listening just for those harmonics and just pulling it down or just taking it up a little, learning how the person sings. And I like that type of stuff. It's like really technical. I do play instruments. I play trumpet, trombone, I'm getting into trombone, baritone, guitar, piano. I can do percussion.
You are super
Like,
talented. You know this,
yeah, yeah,
right?
give me an instrument, I'll learn it. Like, I want to get one of those automatones. It looks like it looks like a little like cute character, and it looks like a musical note. You blow into it, you squeeze it in his mouth, like goes like this as you're playing it.
Hmm.
I want to get one of those. They're pretty funky, but like if I got one, you guys will see it on Rizzle first, guaranteed. So
Nice. Daya
yeah.
Ministry says you are helping take the label off things that people are so judgmental about. And that's very true.
Well, definitely. Like, so when I was getting really sick and stuff, right, the doctor gives you the 5 panel test. And what that is they're testing you for STDs.
Hmm.
So actually, I do my research. It's like, okay, high school, they teach you about safe sex and they say, oh, yeah, herpes, blah, blah, this, blah, 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 whatever, right? Gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, blah, 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 forget about it. Just be safe. It'll never happen to you. But when you get into it, like the minutia of it all, and you start realizing, like, what is syphilis? What is chlamydia? What is all that, right? And you start to look into like how widespread these diseases are, and you don't have to look at it in the dark light of like, okay, somebody went to a club, they slept with a hooker, and they got this disease, right? You don't have to think about it like that. There's things that happen to people against their will or whatever, even like in third world countries, just stuff because they don't have resources or protection or whatever the situation might have been. Somebody gets this disease, but the
Hmm.
education is just so low, and there's like their fear and shame about going to talk to your doctor and saying like, "Hey, I think I got this. Can you test me and like prescribe me an antibiotic?" Or
Hmm.
um, just different stuff like that. You know, it's really stigmatized. What I
It
actually
does.
was going to enter this whole little section with was that herpes is the most widespread disease. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
CDC, or the Canadian Center for Disease Control,
Hmm.
says that um, they say that over 80% of people are infected with one or the other type of herpes. So,
Hmm.
like, if you ever had chicken pox, that's herpes zoster. The
Yes.
mechanisms of the virus, and this is just what I learned through my research, because you go on Google is programmed, so if you search up herpes, the first thing that'll come up, or like, is herpes curable, or this, that, first thing that comes up is that CDC snippet that says herpes is an uncurable virus, right?
Hmm.
Like, you will have it for the rest of your life, blah blah blah, this or that. You can also fall down the rabbit hole of like, um oh, Dr. Sakaguchi or whatever, he's got this amazing medicine and it worked for me, and like it's only 59.99, all that crap. Like, don't believe that. Do your research.
Hmm.
You want to go the route and believe this virus is incurable. And the reason somebody might want to know that would be because they had chickenpox as a child, or you might have kissed somebody and had breakouts, and then every 2 weeks, or whenever you get really stressed out in your life, you're wondering like, why are these bumps showing up on me, or am I getting itchy? All that
Yes.
stuff. You know, that's because the herpes virus, it lays dormant in your nerves. It goes in there, infects, spreads itself. If you want to know how a virus works, you can definitely look that up. But it goes in and infects, and then it somehow knows when your immune system is attacking it, and then it lays
Hmm.
dormant. I'm pretty sure the coronavirus is similar, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Um, but anyways, um, it's far better to have it laying dormant than active, right? So even if you're
Absolutely.
not going to go the route of, okay, I'm just going to say through my research, I personally believe that you can detox it from your body fully, but it's going to take a very extensive fast and a removal of a lot of things from your diet. Um, Possibly even just the belief that you can, or even just a simple prayer. I don't know what it'll take for somebody to get cured from something that's said to be uncurable, but like I said, far better to have it dormant than active. um, Pomegranate juice, it's an absolutely amazing food for people who suffer with herpes. Actually, you can drink it and it'll put it into dormancy again, just in the same way that if you
Pomegranate,
IDS,
cranberry juice, definitely. Those things help.
like, yeah, just, and like I could go on and on about that because I'm actually really passionate about herpes and like it getting cured and stuff. It came out
Mhm.
wrong, sorry, but like, just if they're being cured. But
We get it.
I'm also a firm believer in like we cannot control our dreams, so we should listen to them. I had a
Mm-hmm.
dream. I had a dream last year, and my dad was calling me upstairs because he's always watching the news, right? And he was really excited. He's like, Cooper. He's like, it's on the news right now. He's like, they found a cure for herpes. And I remember the feeling and like, the sensations, everything in my dream. I actually wasn't impressed. I wasn't excited, and I wasn't even about to go check it out because what went through my mind, and this was before coronavirus ever even happened, too, right? What went through my
Hmm.
mind, oh well, there's so many other viruses in the world right now that they can't cure. What difference will it make? And to me, like when I woke up in the morning and recalled that, it just seemed kind of negative and like really weird to me that I thought that. But the feeling was so strong and it like remained with me. And I
Hmm.
guess I can say now that that makes sense to me because I read an article on the other day, they actually have found a cure using gene editing to permanently cure people of herpes. But in the light of coronavirus, you're not hearing about this. So I think
Hmm.
it's really interesting. And I had a dream about something that happened. And, dreams not going to change the world, but it means something personal to me to listen to my dreams.
Absolutely.
Not,
Absolutely.
not,
You have to
not my
listen.
personal
That's your
dreams,
intuition.
the weird stuff that pops up in your mind and you don't know why. Like,
There's always
that
a
type of
reason. You may not know at the time that you have the dream, but further on, if you hold on to it, you will get the clarity as to why you had that dream.
Mhm.
And that's just the way spirituality works. You are super empathic, I must say.
Yeah,
Very,
no worries.
very in tune.
Um,
You know, you're
speaking on
very in tune
intuition,
with, yeah, very in tune. A lot of clairaudience, with the music and the hearing, and a lot of
mm,
clairsensience happening with you, where you're feeling, you're having sensations and everything, dreams. I mean, congratulations for actually being a man, being
yeah,
exposed, being able to share,
because
being in touch with your feelings, being in
yeah,
touch with your heart. You're coming from the heart chakra at this point, letting us all know exactly what is going on with you. And I really, really appreciate that. Daya Ministry is saying Zoyster shingles. She had that
oh yeah.
since a child, and it's like a real bad chicken pox.
Mhm. Um,
I
this is
had
gonna
the shingles
seem
also.
okay. I need to remember the name of the flower. I think it was semolina flower or something. It's such a really weird technique. But this guy came through my till and actually randomly he told me because I worked as a cashier too, meet so many people. And this guy told me, um, he's like, yeah, I suffered with herpes zoster and getting shingles breaking out all over my back. And he said what he did is he took semolina flour and he mixed it with a little bit of vinegar and water and made a paste out of it. Must have been something he researched. Nothing I found up in my research, but just something to try out, I guess. He made a
Mhm.
paste and he applied it and allowed it to dry. It must have pulled something out or whatever it does. And he cleaned it off and he said his breakouts went away. So
Yeah,
like I'm
I
amazed
believe
by
it.
that. Here's an antiviral pill that you know what they have for it is it's called retro antiviral um, RAV. I don't know. There's just retro antivirals, right? They're really expensive medications, and the concept with it is if you take it every day, it works for you. But if you stop taking it, then like an antibiotic, it's not going to work. You don't finish your
Mhm.
course of antibiotics, it gains an immunity. Now you got a superbug. Same thing. So then they're going to put you on other retro antiviral drugs, which are more expensive, maybe even like a combination of them. But if you're to be conscious of your situation in the first part, don't panic and go to the doctor and everything. Like, let's say something really messed up happened and you got HIV, right? Don't accept that diagnosis that you're probably only going to live for the next 10 years, right? Because, first of all, your emotions and your mind is in control of like a lot of that type of stuff. And secondly, you have literally so much that you can do. Like if you found out that you just got it, or if like somebody just told you and it was like within 24 hours or 48 hours of exposure, most people would freak out and cry and hide at home. And that's the worst thing you could do because you could go to I might use the wrong term here. I'm not, I used to know it, but they can give you a prophylaxis at the
Mhm.
hospital. If it's within 24 to 48 hours, they can give you medications that can help your body rid. And another thing people aren't told is that you can be exposed to a viral load, really a viral load of anything, and still not become infected to it because
Mhm.
it's about the intruding virus becoming overpowering over your immune system. So that way it's able to infect you and it gets its foot in the door, and now your immune system's fighting it, but it's progressing. Whatever mechanism the virus has. So, like, speaking on HIV or things like that, if people get an infectious and said to be deadly virus, there's so much you can do to boost your immune system, like through eating properly, eating when you need to, sleep, exercise, um, you know, just being conscious of things like, hey, I'm not going to use toothpaste with fluoride in it anymore, or like,
Mhm. Yeah, because it messes up
so
your
soda's
pituitary
great.
gland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, soda's great, but it's not for me. Like, like if it's your life or like that soda, your life's more important. So you can
absolutely.
make good decisions. And somebody gets a disease or whatever, then go whatever route you need to go. But like, I really encourage you to go the natural medicine route and more the food is medicine route. That's what I mean.
Yes, for sure. Wow, Cooper. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you so much for all of this release that you
Yeah,
gave
no
us. I
worries.
mean, we're just so delighted to just have you on board with us today. And wow. And like I said, there's nothing like having a male point of view when it comes to health, when it comes to natural herbs, natural remedies. I mean, it's golden when it comes from a male point of view because there's such a lack of that,
Well,
and it's
there's a
great to listen to
possibility.
you.
Maybe we could talk to Rizzle, or I could even do it on my own and ask him, say, hey, would you guys be interested in promoting the topic of male health or men's mental health or just whatever, maybe they could create a contest to do with it too. I think that would be cool
Or they
because
could do like men empowerment, where you guys could talk about everything men,
yeah,
where somebody would talk about the health part, you could talk about whatever, the psyche part and everything, because there's so many different departments, it's the
definitely.
love and relationship part, marriage, all that, you know, personal development. It just keeps going on and on and on. Men's health, everything, whatever. It just keeps going, you know. So that is something definitely. But I noticed that they don't
Mhm.
have contests going on Rizzle at this for a while now. Have you noticed?
Contests. Oh, actually, well, the instant album one just ended, so all of the submissions they're sent off. You can't really submit to it anymore.
Mm,
Upcoming is the Valentine's Day contest, so I think that's due for February 14th. They want people to make a 3 episode, 1 minute per episode series on Valentine's Day. I was thinking I might do something, but also, with the brain fog and just different things going on, I do things when I'm feeling good or when I'm motivated. So if that happens, it happens, right?
hmm
They actually do have several content tests going on. If you press the search bar on Rizzle, and then if anything's typed in at the top, just press cancel. Then it'll show you the home page, and there should be on that little
Okay.
carousel contest. But
Okay.
mainly, we've been focusing on finding people who are like famous on other platforms and like either paying them or getting them to come over. And I don't know how well that's working. I
Well, they
can't
kind
really
of been
comment.
doing that for a little bit now because they've been doing that on the Indian side of the industry, you
Yeah,
know.
actually, I wasn't sure if I should really like say that or whatever, but yeah, no, there's a much bigger India side to Rizzle.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Vidya did say in one of her videos that the collaboration feature just wasn't being used quite the way that they thought it would be in the US or on this hemisphere of the world. So that they said they actually are sending more funding towards the India side of things. Um, which it is what it is, but gone are the days of like getting sponsorships. Like people, I've talked to a lot of my friends on Rizzle. Nobody gets sponsorships anymore. We don't know if the feature's broken or what's going on. But
Mm-hmm.
we kind of used to get a thing before where it was like, do you know what cost per mile is?
No.
Um, okay, so cost per mile is like a technical term for video streaming. If you sell video or whatever, you normally get paid per thousand views.
Yeah.
And
Is that
I
like the
swear to you,
CPM? Like the
yeah,
CPM
exactly.
index? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I swear to you, we used to get like 20 cents per thousand views or something, which it's definitely not about the money, but to drive
Yeah.
people to come over to the app, you want people to treat it like their job, right? Like you get
Yeah.
dressed up to go to your job, you'll have your scripts or whatever and your things that you say that work to do your job and your tools and all that, right? They want
Mm-hmm.
people to treat it like their job and promote it to their friends and family and really stand behind it rather than saying like, oh, it's this new app that whatever they've lost interest. Just have something you can really stand behind. And you can say, no, I'm a verified Rizzle content creator.
Mm-hmm.
I've participated and won some contests, and you should really come over because it gives you a unique view of the world. You want it to be an app that you can stand behind and say those things about. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
people are getting disinterested or losing interest because of the money element, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there was a period too where people and us Rizzlers were coming out and people seemed like they were being bratty because it was like, where's our money? Why aren't we? All that type of stuff, right? You don't
Yeah.
want that. They definitely don't want that at all. Vidya said
Mm-hmm.
before she wants it to be a classless society. She said, congrats to you guys who got a blue check mark. I was never advocating for that. That's what she
Mm-hmm.
said. So it's interesting, but to get people to come to the app, to keep them on the app, and to get people to treat it like their job. It's super unfortunate, but like that money element is so important because
Mhm.
I try to tell people and like, hey, you can make money on your content, and then the next thing they ask me is like, okay, how much did you make today or like this last month? It's
Yeah,
like,
the
well,
mentality is
yeah,
a
so most
little
people
low,
say,
but the thing about it is the reason why the mentality is like that, you have to also say it's two sides of the coin. Is because the way that they advertised originally was to tell people that they can actually get paid to be a video creator, start making videos on this app, and then you do get
yeah.
paid. That
Like I said, when I saw it on YouTube, that's exactly what was promoted to me was like
exactly.
new content
And
creator. Yeah,
it wasn't direct, the fine lines were not put there as to how you would actually be funded and so on and so forth. So a lot of people came in with high hopes and then most likely got discouraged along the way,
yes.
especially when the sponsorships were basically removed,
Yeah.
and it wasn't coming, the flow wasn't coming like it was before. But
Mhm.
this is what I always say: if you're really into social media business, like you're really looking to build your platform, whether you're getting paid on Rizzle or not should not really be a factor, because the fact
Exactly.
what you have on Rizzle is access to people. You have access
Mhm.
to people that are actually watching your videos and you're getting responses. That is prime number one. Number two, when you have access to people, you have the opportunity for you to build your own personal platform, like you connect with
Mhm.
people, you could connect with emails and all that, and build your whole social media business,
Mhm.
by
And that's
simply
actually
creating
like
a
question.
program.
Um, that's actually the second reason why I ended up staying with Rizzle. So the first was like, hey, you're a new content creator, very low requirements to get started. The second was like, I've never seen a platform where I can link all of my social medias so when somebody goes to my homepage, they can click on those and then
Mhm.
just quickly shoot out like 1 minute promos where it's just like, hey, I'm at this on these platforms, come check me out and see that growth. You're
I
right,
mean,
that is more valuable. That's
technically,
more
you could
valuable than
create,
resume at the end
yeah,
of the day, having access to
you can,
people, because if people like your content and they subscribe to it, not to treat them like a customer or whatever, but in a customer sense, if they're treated well, right, and people are getting the experience that they came to Rizzle for, um, like we had these guidebooks or whatever when I worked at the grocery store, and one of the quotes in it said, "A customer treated well is worth more than $10,000 in advertising." Right, so like you're saying that access to people having a good experience watching your content are going to do more for you than $10,000 worth of Instagram ads.
mhm.
This is say at least, right? So networking is huge for me as an entrepreneur, and Rizzle's the perfect thing to do that by linking all my socials and just shooting out quick promos. Or like I have a channel called Unpaid Promotions, and just early on in the day, just just shooting quick promos, seeing and
And
that's
you're
for me
getting the
practicing.
visibility.
Yeah, practicing for me a lot of my Rizzles are practicing things, and I'm just
Good.
developing confidence, developing that personality because I've always been interested in talk shows, been interested in interviews, and also making vlogs about what I do. And it's really not that hard. That's the perspective that Rizzle gives me, and that's the feeling it gives me is that it's just you can do it, you know,
It's a great
without
way to
saying
start building your business,
there's got to be like subliminal messages or something when you open the app. It's just like, you can do it or something, right? Because I'm just pumped every time you open it, right?
Well, like I said, it's like we've been talking about. When motivation is one thing, because subliminal message would be a motivation, right? But the willingness has to be there, like we were saying before. You have to, take action, and you really have to want it. You really have to know what you want in your life for you to go get it. So they can do as many
Definitely.
things, but it all depends on the individual.
hmm Um, you got to respect the opportunity that you have on Rizzle too, right? Because I recognize that the average user at the end of the day, um, their minds are open, right? Like when you're talking to people or they're watching their video, the sad reality is their minds are open and they're in receive mode because you're getting dopamine from the experience of being on the app.
Hmm.
So, you know, it's easy. You could definitely use that for sales all day, but at the end of the day,
Yes,
you don't want to treat people like patrons. You want to treat them like people because anyone can send you a video response. You can send a video response to any person, and it keeps it real. And
it does.
so like you said, Rizzle's great for sales, great for marketing and everything. And I'm just telling anyone who's listening, like it is pretty easy to do because people are listening. Like
Right.
their minds are completely flowing and open. So definitely use that for whatever you can. Just positivity, though, to say the least. Like
Absolutely. And then when you have a
I'm just
platform where you have X amount of numbers, like some of us, I have 30,000 plus on mine. Some people have like six figures when it comes to their followers. Those are real people. You have to respect that. Like what other platform can you tell me that you have those type of numbers? You know?
exactly. Like I had somebody beefing me recently, and he's trying to say things like, oh, okay, well, you're just getting fake views, and oh, look at Colt Sebastian Taylor. He's not big on any other platforms. It's like, okay, but somebody has to start somewhere, and this is like the best place for us as a community to do it. We enjoy it. We're friends with each other on Facebook or whatever. Keep it close. And if you're not having fun with that experience, then you just leave it alone. You don't have to have a comment on it.
Exactly. Like a
Um,
lot of people were saying that, oh, they think that the followers may be fake. Well, I started a whole show derived from Rizzle, being on Rizzle, and started interviewing all you guys, be crossing over to Instagram and interviewing. This is how this show started. Okay.
and yeah,
Everybody came from Rizzle.
it just takes a little exponential growth. I mean, right now there's 4 viewers, but who's to say next week there's not going to be 40? Because
Exactly.
every one of you guys can tell 10 people, right? That's your task. So yeah,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
Rizzles, it's morphing into some new things too. My friend Jackie Nails actually, she recommended to them very early on that they become more like a TV network for people to put out independent content that they're making that's in the style of TV shows, and they've really changed and become a lot more like that. Like you're scrolling on your homepage and you see all these video series, and there's a red button to watch. So
Mhm.
that's pretty new with Rizzle for sure. But
Okay.
what were we talking about again?
GQ was saying facts. Yeah, basically, I truly feel that people need to put, uh, regardless of what you say or whatever you do, but at least put a respect on Rizzo because a lot of people started from Rizzo. Seriously, wherever you came from, when you got to Rizzo, you started to push some smoke because you started to really like get hyped up because you saw views and you saw followers. And that's the only app, to tell you the truth, where people could say that they blew up. And with
Yeah.
all with all of that, okay, at least you have to look within yourself how to, while you're blowing up, how to utilize it to your best interest. I utilize it to our best
Yeah.
interest where right now I'm doing automation where
Yeah.
I'm interviewing you guys. It's going into my system. I got your information. Whatever it is that I'm doing, you're going to be one of my contact people. I'll shoot you guys an email. And guess what? Boom. That's it. I don't have to go on the platform, so to speak, on Rizzle to say, hey, but I have you in my own database. So
Yeah.
people need to start thinking along those terms, especially when you're on social media. Because God forbid, let's say like the social media apps that you're on shut down. Let's say Facebook shut down. Let's say
Yeah.
YouTube shut down. Rizzle shut down. Oh, we know each other. Yeah, but you know what? How many of these people's information do you have? I
Hmm.
could say that I do because I implemented something totally different, which puts you guys in the position to tap into my system so that I can create my own show. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
everybody's not doing that. So everybody got to find their niche, their whatever is going to work for them, and to put it into implementation. And that's where you're going to see the value of the Rizzle app, like many other apps. Like the same thing you're supposed to be doing on Facebook, Instagram, or
Yeah.
whatever. Basically, that's what you should be doing on Rizzle. Is
I think
creating your
the
own,
next
to create your own system. That's all it is.
yeah, I feel like the next step is like Rizzle's just got to become this thing where it's a lot more real, if you know what I mean. Like, if my phone's not in my pocket or I'm out in the forest with some friends and I don't got my phone with me, there is no Rizzle, right? Like, I literally don't have a Rizzle hat, or like I got my own Rizzle shirt that I made, but like they don't have merchandise for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's still such a weird taboo thing for me to say, like, yeah, I'm a verified content creator on Rizzle, and like I almost have 150K followers, and people are like, no, no way, they're fake views. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, not
Yeah.
like, oh well, look at your TikTok, you're not famous on there. It's like, yeah, but Rizzle's a different platform with different people,
Yeah,
and
and
like the
a
world
whole
is huge.
different geographic and a whole different algorithm as well. You
Like
know,
the world is massive. If we could get 1% of the population using Rizzle, that's huge still. Like it's not a small
absolutely.
thing. So like I can't wait till Rizzle becomes something a lot more real. Um, like be hyped up and say, hey, RizzleCon is coming up and it's in Jaipur, India. Because,
Hmm.
it's probably where the first one's going to happen. They're putting a lot more resources into the India side of things.
I'm sure.
Uh,
I'm sure.
where, just like when are us verified creators going to get shipped out a Rizzle shirt, or even just like just something cool like that commemorates like the journey we've had on Rizzle. Like YouTube's got a play button. I would like a
Mhm.
Rizzle. Like that would be like cool. We
It
don't
would.
expect it, but it's all the things that they can do to make it a real experience, or like give you something to actually show for what you've done on there, versus just like, oh, here's the URL, go check it out. Like, oh, okay, well, you have to download the app to check out my videos, right? Then people
Hmm.
are just like, oh, you greasy salesman, like, you're just trying to
Yeah,
get me in. So
it's
yeah,
true. It's
we
true.
talked about a lot of different things here. Am I overstaying my welcome at all?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I'm so delighted and I wanted to say thank you to you. You're not overstaying, but by all means, all good things must come to an end. We
Yes,
normally
yes.
give it an hour, but we went way over an hour. A lot of the interviews have been going way over an hour, and I'm so pleased and so glad that Instagram has the door wide open for us since we've been consistent with the show. So
Yeah.
Instagram doesn't have an issue with us at all. They just like we could be here till tomorrow if we wanted to, but we can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes, I want to take the time to thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, and really sharing the most intimate side of you, your transparency. Um, for the first point, it's just so on point. And like I said, being a man, speaking about the things that you're talking about, men's health, sharing your personal story. Thank you for everything. We really enjoyed the conversation, and we're too thrilled to have you shed some light on us today, really. And
No.
congratulations on your wisdom. Seriously, you
Oh
know,
boy. Thank you. I can feel the
congratulations
gray,
on your
I can
wisdom.
feel the gray hairs.
No,
um,
no, no. Trust me, I can identify with you. You go very far. You're an old soul. That doesn't mean that you're old in age. It's just your mind is very elevated, and that is something to be commended with. So I just wanted to take the time to acknowledge that with you, and thank you
I think,
everybody for being in attendance here. All the supporters of Cooper Collins. Thank you for supporting the Martine Show as well. It's
yeah,
been
thanks guys for stopping in. It means a lot to both of us actually, because this is part of making Rizzle a real experience. Like here we are on another platform and we're all the same people. Obviously you're real. Like I know GQ's not a robot because like, he's saying some
exactly.
pretty
This is my point of doing this show and being consistent to demonstrate exactly what you said. People are not
absolutely.
robots, okay? We're not bots. All right. People, they've been saying that the people on Rizzo are not real. Well, why is my show consistent every week, twice a week, mind you? Okay.
Mm.
From people from Rizzo. All right. So that means that I need to continue doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe even someday there'd be like a Martine Show t-shirt, or like maybe like a Martine Show notebook so people can just freaking jot down Cornell notes on like your interviews and stuff, because there's a lot to learn.
Well, I do
Um,
have Martine Show T-shirts actually on
oh,
my
you do?
Instagram. Yeah, I do
Okay,
have like line, so you
I'm gonna
could
look
actually
into that.
check it out. It's actually on my link. It says the Martine Show merchandise that you can check out and stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, we got quite a few things happening here. But I'm glad to have you as a guest. You wanted to be here. And GQ is saying, I have a whole new respect for you, Cooper. Okay,
I
Coop.
appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
No, no, we really got to learn a whole different side of you, Coop. Like, seriously. Like,
Like I said too, right? 1 minute videos, there's only so much you can do. And I guess
yeah.
a lot of times I'm just hurting with anxiety or whatever's going on. So I'm like, okay, can I make people laugh today or like just something, right? Just assume a character and just put out your artistic endeavors. And
Well, you gave us a
yeah,
little bit of everything today. You had us thinking for sure. Okay. You
for
had us mesmerized. I mean, you had us go very deep
thanks.
into thought. Like, I mean, you shared everything that we could not even imagine of, you know? So,
Well, I just appreciate you guys being those types of people too, because the modern mind is like people are just like, oh, I'm sorry, that's just too much. Like it's just too much information. Like I haven't even read a book
yeah,
in a month.
TMI. Well, you know,
Like,
this show is good on TMI. Okay. We deep
yeah,
over
yeah,
here. So whenever you want to come back and upgrade and let us know what else is going on in your life and
for
put
sure.
us up to speed, by all means, the door is open. Just want to let you know
Yeah,
that. Okay. All
yeah,
right.
that'd be fantastic actually. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I accept the proposal. That'd be awesome.
Awesome.
Um,
Yeah,
I gotta actually go because dinner is ready and like
for sure. Same
I think
here. We gotta go too.
we're having like chicken, so I gotta go get that chicken and yeah.
Awesome. Awesome again. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you all next time, next Tuesday. All right. Take care. Have a good one,
Okay,
Cooper.
guys. Peace out.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.